Man, oh man, I am a couple weeks late from a best of 2022 list to have this film. So here's the thing, I don't usually do spoiler warnings. There's no way. Look, I can just tell you this is a great film. And I'm going to rewatch the film. And Mrs. Pops is going to watch the film. This is a great film. I am. Is this top five of last year for me? I am so blindsided with how good this movie was, how the pacing and performances and intrigue and suspense and surprises and then the dialogue perform. I don't know where the flaws really are in this film. Wow. Okay, you've been warned. I will go into intricate details with you. But if you do not want that, you want to try to have it raw, then, knock it out. It was on HBO Max. I missed it in the theaters, and I was like, holy crap. So Ralph Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy star. He is the chef, right? And Nicholas Hoult is the other key player. Even John Leguizamo's in it. A couple other players that you'll recognize. And it basically centers around Anya Taylor-Joy and then Nicholas Hoult. They're going to go to this private island to have this special meal prepared by Ralph Fiennes, the chef. He's this famous chef. It's this exclusive thing. All these people is uber wealthy, can afford it. It's something very, very special. There's tension right away when they get to this island because Margot is not Taylor's original date. There's a name change. Nothing's really said. And Tyler is like a total foodie, right? He's a total fanboy for this chef, going on and on and on. And basically, he admits that how people admire athletes or musicians or whatever. He's into this. This is his thing, right? A couple other quick character notes, right? With to get through this, a lot happens. It's so fast paced. George is John Leguizamo's. He's an actor. He has done a couple crappy films. He has this assistant who wants to quit. There's like an investor table with these three douchey kind of guys. One guy's talking about how he's a cheater. Their relationship's on the ice. There's like an old husband-wife couple. There's a critic and her assistant. She's famous. She's Lillian Bloom is her name. It's a Janet McTeer. She was in Jessica Jones. What I knew her from. Anyway, and her assistant, right? Well, once each segment comes up as like first course. And Ralph Fiennes does this monologuing about food and nature, and it's very over the top. And Tyler is brought to tears, and Margot's like not having it. He's like, "You're the customer. Like, what are you doing?" And you find out the characters' motivations. Like the investors are all about buying an experience. They don't really care about food. It's something to do, right? Rich guys, right? George is going to pitch a food travel show or something. He's just an awful person, right? And you have another speech for second course, which is about bread, but there is no bread. They don't get any bread. And I love the line. There's a line. Make sure I got it right. Enjoy the unaccompanied accompaniments. And it's like this little dialogue nuances, right? And you have Tyler totally fanboying the whole time because there's no bread. And Margot's the only one. Like, what? And then they bring out this tray of just like these little liquids. And the critic makes this comment about broken emulsion. And they're like snooty, snotty, little food critics. And then so the chef brings out this freaking giant bowl of that stuff. Like it was like they're listening, right? And they're trolling. I love the trolling. Margot is the only one who gets it, and you just love it. And each thing moves along. The tension keeps building and building. The investors that they just things. Oh, the maitre d'. I didn't get to the maitre d'. Her name is Elsa. She's this little Asian lady, no nonsense. Because the dudes, these douchey guys, ask for bread, and she's like, "No." Do you know who we are? Yes. Well, we're gonna have bread. No. It was just like, what on earth? And the tension just keeps going, right? And by the time you get to the next course, like Margot's already insulted the chef. Things like that have already happened, right? And then the chef goes into this big long thing about memorable taco night, and they use these tortillas, and there's like these intricate personal messages and stuff that's on them, you realize there's a whole lot more here going on than you realize. Like, he knows about everybody. Like the investor guys, it's like intricate details about finances that proves that they're forging or faking documents. The married couple, it's like the husband is having an affair. You say, like, holy crap, what is going on? What is going on? Margot tries to sneak away, right? And because Tyler was being a jerk back to her or whatever, right? So she's trying to smoke a cigarette. Well, then she gets confronted by the chef in the bathroom. He just comes in the bathroom, right? And the tension keeps building and keeps building. So when we get to this next course, things go dark, hardcore, left. So he has this big spiel. He's talking about Jeremy. And then like Jeremy's like being belittled by the chef. Like, you'll never be great, no matter how much you work at it. You want my job, you want my life, these kinds of things. And it's called it's called The Mess, right? You can't avoid making a mess. And then all of a sudden Jeremy just blows his head off. So everyone's traumatized, yet there's a comment about it being part of the show. It's an exclusive experience. These crazy rich nut jobs are like back and forth on, is this real or not? Right? It's so weird. Only Margot appears to be really identifying that something's really, really, really bad. The older guy, the husband, wants to leave, and there's a big thing about how that goes. And then the chef's always like, well, it's just part of the menu. It's just how things go, right? It's just how things go. And then Margot, but you're not part of the plan, right? So the confrontation just keeps going and keep escalating, right? Because the chef and Margot are face to face in the kitchen. It's like, there's comment about, we're all going to die tonight. Are you going to die with me, us, or are you going to die with them? And they set a timer. So you have this timer that's counting down. And there's a moment, palate cleanser, right? Because we're doing courses, right? So you have this constant stuff that's happening. And you have more murder, you have more intrigue, you have more chaos, and everything just keeps stacking and building and stacking and building, and stress. And there's like, can we get away or not? But it's part of a game, and who's really in control? Even to the point where this female chef unexpectedly was telling her story, and then she like stabs the chef. It was like part of this bigger picture that's been orchestrated. Well, why would the chef be doing this? So his motivation is so fascinating, and it all stems from them harming him and the food industry in some way. Like, he's lost his love and his passion. The critic, these married couple, they've been in there like 11 times. I remember the number, and they can't even name a dish. So by the time you get to this final moment, and Margot's constantly trying to figure out her place in all this, and she's piecing together things, and she sneaks into his room and she sees a picture of him for real, like back in the day, as being a fry cook, right? Like cooking a burger. So she takes control and says, I don't like the food. I want to send it back. And so you're like, holy crap. Now what has happened? How is she going to get out of this alive? Right? So the ending is fantastic. It is so good. I tell you what, man, I couldn't believe how it was just set up and payoff and set up and payoff. And the performances, Anya Taylor-Joy and Ralph Fiennes deserve awards. I'm not even going to diss on Nicholas Hoult and what happens with his character. Everyone all of Elsa's character is great. This little Asian maitre d' lady, she's just fantastic. So the way it all plays up into this final course and the dessert and what actually plays out, and then his dialogue, you represent the ruin of my art and my life, right? You get now be part of it. You're going to be part of my masterpiece, right? And it's like, wow, this is deep and yet quirky. It is fun, not laugh out loud funny, but like you're laughing at some of the absurdity and the people getting their own. Like you want them to get their just desserts, pun intended. Like, it really, really plays up well. Has a great ending, a good payoff, a great execution on every level. I just love it so much. What a great film. Like I said, I am blown away. I can't believe I somehow missed this. And I'm so thrilled to at least talk about it now. Hopefully it's something you can check out and you guys can tell me what you think. Holy cow, what a great film.
Ross, all I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't wanna cause a problem, I'll solve it, Bob Ross.